guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of Life After Lockup. This is season 2, episode 49. I don't know the name of it. Let's jump right into this episode. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and feel free to share on any social media platform that you like. So the first couple that we're going to talk about is Angela and Tony. They have decided that they're getting married. In fact, Tony decided last episode that he would like to get married as soon as possible, and Angela obliged. So, Angela is driving Tony to meet with Tommy to talk about his suit. So first they're talking in the car about what kind of suit he wants, and Tony says that he wants to wear like a beachy type suit, so something with like shorts, I guess. I'm thinking like off-white linen shorts. I don't know what I'm thinking, but that's what I thought of at first. Angela says, whoa, before you start talking about it, talk about all this with Tommy because he's gonna help you pick out a suit. So Angela drops him off at the big and tall warehouse and he gets out to meet Tommy, and they get inside and there is like what looks to be a Caribbean woman with a wig that I don't necessarily agree with, but there's racks and racks and rows and rows and rows of suits. So Tony has never tried on a suit before. He doesn't know his size. So Tommy's trying to help him out. He picks out a random suit, puts it onto Tony, and Tony's like, oh yeah, I like this. This feels good. Tommy's like, well, what kind of suit are you looking for? And he's like, well, it's gonna be on the beach, so I don't have to worry about my shoes. My toes are gonna be out. So anything, that says beach. So Tommy picks out a white suit and Tony's like, oh my God, I love it. Tony falls in love with this white suit. So he puts the suit on and it's all manner of baggy. And Tommy's like, yep, looks good. And to me, it looks like Tommy is just trying to set Tony up for disaster. And Tommy ends up divulging to Tony a little secret that Angela has kept. Well, personally, I don't even think it's a secret. So Tommy's like, well, you know that I proposed to Angela, right? And Tony's like, well, how long ago was that? And Tommy's like, well, it was a while back. Meanwhile, cut to the producers putting in a shot of 6 months ago is when Tommy asked Angela to marry him. Tony's like, did you know that we were engaged? I mean, we've been engaged for 2 years. All of a sudden, Tony's feeling some kind of way. And I'm confused because I'm like, why is Tony even feeling any kind of way that this like twerp named Tommy is in love with Angela? Like, what does it matter, Tony? You don't really love Angela. You've been treating her like poop. Like, what does it even matter? Tommy's like, oh, I've had some self-defense classes, so if it came down to a fight between me and Tony, I think I could do some damage. Tony's like, look, you need to relax. And Tommy is like, hey, so just a saying, if you hurt her, there will be consequences. And Tony's like, have you ever killed anybody? And Tommy's like, no, of course not. I've never killed anybody. And then Tony's like, okay, so then stop talking because you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, let's not even go down that road. And so it's like this awkward face-off, and Tony says that he's very angry at Angela because Angela kept a huge secret from him, and how could she do that, and now he doesn't trust her. And so they end that. He gets the white suit, he gets home to Angela, and he's like, why didn't you tell me that Tommy asked you to marry him? And Angela's like, Angela's literally holding the biggest mug of, I guess, coffee, and she's like, what? Tony, are you scared of Tommy? And Tony's like, no, I'm not scared of Tommy. And Angela's like, well, then there's no problem. I don't understand why you're so upset. And Tony's like, Angela, 2 men who are in love with the same woman can't be in the same room. That's not how it works. And Angela's like, Tony, there is no competition between you and Tommy. I don't like Tommy. He's my friend. And Tony's like, well, then he can't come to the wedding. You're not allowed to hang out with him anymore. And, you're just being dishonest. You're talking about me being dishonest with you? And Angela's like, Tony, are you trying to say that you sleeping with 2 prostitutes is the same as my friend proposing to me? Come on, dude. And Tony's like, well, I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm just saying that you kept a secret. And Angela's like, she puts her arms over Tony and she's like, Tony, don't worry about Tommy. You could beat him up if anything happened. But these rules, you're not going to set any rules for me, okay? There is no, I'm not going to talk to Tommy. Tommy can't come to the wedding, okay? None of that. And then Tony's just like, well, I'm like, Tony, you don't have any ground at all to lay any rules down, so shut up. Okay, that's all that happens in their segment. It was just funny and I enjoyed it. All right, so the next couple that we're going to talk about, Clint and Tracy. Okay, so at the end of last episode, Clint has left his house and gone to stay with Alice. Now, we wake up where he is with his mother. They're having a conversation, and Alice, she's upset. She got her red, white, and blue nails, which leads me to believe that it's around 4th of July, 2019. I be peeping things. So Clint's gone home to mama, and she's sitting on the couch with him, and he's looking bedraggled AF. And she's like, you know what? You finally found out that she loves that drug more than she loves you, Clint. I want you to be happy and find someone who's normal and have a normal relationship. And Clint's like, Mama, you can't just give up on someone you love. And I love Tracy, and it just breaks my heart that she doesn't want to give up the drugs for me. Alice is like, see, we told you was going to lose your $5,000. Clint's like, yeah, it just really hurts, and I don't want to give up on her. And so Alice is like, Clint, I don't want to be estranged from you. And if you go back to her, then you're going to lose us. You're going to lose your family. I'm not going to be here for you. And she starts to cry. She has her confessional. She's upset. So the next day, Clint finds out that Tracy is at the house. He's been texting her, and he is just like, oh God, she keeps texting me. I guess she's looking for something. I don't know what she wants him to come home for. And so he goes to his mother, and he's like, Tracy's been texting me, and so I need you to take me back to the house. She has my car. And Alice is like, no, I'm not enabling you, Clint. You could just stay right here. I'm not enabling you. I'm not taking you over there. You're going to have to find a way to get over there. And he's like, Mama, you're not enabling me. You're just taking me home. That's all you're doing. And she's like, yes, I am. I am enabling you. And I'm not going to do it. So you're just going to have to find your own way over there, Clint. I'm not helping you get back with Tracy. So Clint's like, ugh. And I guess he Ubers or something, gets a ride, finds somebody. He gets back to his house. He can't even get into his own house. And he opens the garage to get into the door. And he's like knocking in his garage door, trying to get into the house. And he's like, I know you're in there. I hear the dryer. I'm just going to stand out here until you let me in. The only thing I can imagine is pretty soon he's going to start busting down that door. Now, here's a little spoiler tea for some of y'all. I cannot corroborate this. This is just based on what you guys are saying down in the comment section. Apparently, Clint has come out and said that he is actively on meth as well. I mean, it's something that is not a shocker to me or anybody else, but I didn't want to put that out there unless it was true. I know I just did it because I said I didn't corroborate. I haven't found out if it was true or not. I haven't found the record that shows that he said that he is actually on meth. So if you guys do know where that came from, go on ahead and drop a link down below so anybody could check it out, to the article or whatever where he says that he is actually on methamphetamines. Clint is still saying that if Tracy doesn't go to rehab, he's going to break up with her, but I don't believe that, especially if he's actually on meth himself, because then that means that he would need to go to rehab too. Also, if Clint actually is on drugs, I think it's real shady of him to this entire time pretend like she is the one with the drug problem and not him. Like, that is really kind of shady. If I were Tracy, I'd be pissed off knowing that this whole time he was doing drugs with her, yet on television, she's the one that has been given the bad rap. The next couple that we're going to talk about is Shan and Lacey. No, Shane, Shan and Lacey. Okay, so where we left off last episode is that Shane is putting up a trampoline with Lacey's father in the backyard. Lacey is in the bedroom having like sexy time with John on FaceTime. And she says, you know what? Shane really hurt me. And if we're gonna play the game of who can hurt each other the most, I'm gonna win. So she's decided that she's just over Shane because John has never cheated on her. John has never done anything purposely to hurt her except for be a heroin addict, which wasn't purposeful, I guess, in her mind. Right? So she's, showing off her boobies to John and all this stuff on the phone, having him take off his shirt, while Shane is just none the wiser outside with the dad. There's nothing that really happens in this episode besides the fact that John is like, you need to get that little boy out your house because I'm coming over, daddy's home. He ends up saying that in the previews for next episode. So I think next episode is going to have more about them. Let's see. What does my notes say? My notes say, who can hurt each other more? John makes her feel comfortable. She can talk to him about anything. She feels brokenhearted and betrayed. So that's really all that happens in this episode. We just kind of see a little bit more of what's happening with Lacey and why she feels like it's okay for her to cheat on her husband with her ex. All right, so the next couple that we're going to talk about is Andrea and Lamar. At the beginning of their segment, Andrea is sitting in the bed eating chocolates. Like, she got a whole tray of those delicious, like, what is that, Rocher chocolates? You know, the chocolates that have like the nuts on the outside and on the inside is like hazelnut. Oh my God, they're so delicious. Eating a whole tray of them, and I'm so jealous because now Andrea has decided that she doesn't believe Lamar anymore. She doesn't know what to think about the condom. She does think that they are his, and she's like, my mind's playing tricks on me. And so Danielle comes over. So her bestie, black friend Danielle, who is low-key a hater, comes over and knocks on the door, and Lamar is upstairs like, who is it? I'm like, Lamar, in the civilized world, you get up and you go to the door and you open it. But this fool is sitting on the couch listening to his music on his laptop like, who is it? And Danielle's like, Danielle! Through the door. And he's like, oh. And she opens the door and comes in and is like, where's Andrea? And Lamar's like, oh, she downstairs. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. So she goes downstairs and sees Andrea just eating a bunch of chocolates, and she's like, what are you doing? And Andrea's like, eating chocolates, you want some? She's like, no, I don't want no chocolates. I know, it's just like, why you want no chocolates? Them is delicious chocolates, okay? Them is high quality, delicious chocolates. I don't understand. I want the chocolate. So Danielle lays on the bed, and then Andrea goes into some dramatics, which I know is all producer fed, and she's like, I don't trust Lamar. He's been sleeping with prostitutes. And Danielle is like, prostitutes, girl, what are you even talking about? First of all, you've gone too dramatic on us right now. This is all unnecessary. Lamar is not sleeping with prostitutes. He loves you. You need to take a step back. You need to have a conversation with Lamar. And Andrea's like, well, we haven't had sex in 2 months, and so like, that's not healthy. And Danielle's like, yeah, that's not healthy. You need to figure this out, okay? So she goes upstairs to have a conversation with Lamar and is like, Lamar, what do you want? And Lamar's like, of course I want my family. Of course I love Andrea. I'm not sleeping with anybody else. He doesn't even get excited about it. He's just like, it is what it is. I'm not doing what she thinks I'm doing. So then Danielle goes downstairs and is like, y'all need to figure this out, okay? I'm going home. So that's it. That's all she did. She went home. Next scene, Andrea calls Nyla up to do her makeup. And Nyla's like, what am I up here doing this for? And Andrea's like, because me and Lamar need to have a conversation about our relationship. And Nyla's like, first of all, I don't want to be here in this conversation because I'm too young. I don't understand why you're talking to me about your husband. I'm not your best friend. I'm your daughter. I mean, that's not what she says, but I know that's what she's thinking. So she starts to put on her mother's makeup, and it looks like she's real slapdash with it. I was like concerned the whole time she was putting on the makeup. And Nyla's just like, you guys are just gonna fight. That's what you do anyway. So like, what are you even putting on makeup for and doing this for? I don't understand. I feel the same way, Nyla. So then Andrea's done getting ready, and they go to some mountaintop or whatever to like have a discussion. Apparently this is the most beautiful place in Utah that Andrea loves to go have conversations at. She leaves the house. She tells the kids to lock the door and don't open it even if the person is Jesus. And I'm just like, I thought you said Utah was so safe. I thought you said like everything is so much better in Utah, girl, and you're telling them not to open the door for anybody? What? Come on. Tennison's like 16 years old. They fine. They're good. Tennison's like 17. What are you even talking about? Anyway, so they get to this mountaintop. It is beautiful. Or they get to this lookout area and they sit out to have a conversation. And she's like, what are we gonna do? Like, I mean, I really just want this to work out. And in her confessionals, Andrea says that she knows that she's a difficult person, but she really doesn't think that Lamar understands how to please her. And that she just is having a really hard time with this because she wants and loves Lamar. And then also in the confessionals, Lamar says that he loves her. They have a really cute moment. And I just think that these two just need to come to some kind of compromise, you know? So they get out of the car and Andrea starts to say how she feels about this entire situation. And then Lamar says something that I was just like, dang, Lamar, I love him so much. He's such a good guy. He says, you know what? You are still talking about the person who was in jail, who was confined. I'm a different person now. Now that I'm out of jail and I have things going on in my life and I have all these opportunities, I don't want to give them up. I just want to live my life and be happy. And I'm not that person anymore. And I'm sorry about that. And Andrea is just like, I know. And, you know, I gave up. I've been in love with you for 7 years. And he's like, I know. And I love you for that. And they just have a really good moment. And she's like, but I don't want to live in LA. And he's like, I can't give up. And so they're like, okay, we'll leave it down to a family vote. And Andrea thinks that she's going to win the family vote. vote, and Lamar thinks that he's gonna win the family vote. So I guess next episode we're gonna see what the family votes. We don't know. Then there's a mini scene of Lamar teaching Nyla how to drive. So Tennyson is in the car with Lamar and Nyla, and he's like, ooh, look at this. This is like some quintessential family stuff. Like, I love being this role model for you. I love teaching you how to drive. She's being taught how to drive, girl. Nyla is doing the absolute most. And Lamar's like, nobody taught me how to drive. I learned how to drive by stealing cars. So it was really cute, but Nyla's a bad driver. I feel like she was purposely doing stuff. And like, Tennyson is just like, why are you braking so hard? And even Lamar's like, okay, we need to put the car in park because there's some things that you don't quite understand about driving. So really, it wasn't Andrea being extra. Like, Nyla's just kind of crazy when it comes to driving. So the next couple that we're gonna talk about, Brittany and Marcelino. And this whole made-up scenario, girl. So we're hot off the presses of Brittany knowing that Marcelino was not where he said he was gonna be because his cousin called her, and now she's confused. So we have a mini scene of him coming in at night and her being awake, and him being like, hey, what's up? And her being like, how did you play tonight? And he's like, you know, I did okay. And her asking, how did James play, the cousin? And he's like, you know, James is an idiot, so he didn't play well. And so she's like, okay, so he's sticking with this lie. My question is that we know that Brittany called him 11 times, right? Why didn't he acknowledge the fact that she had called him 11 times? Because his phone rang. So I assume he saw all her missed calls. I don't even know. This is bad acting. They're not even being congruent with the acting. Come on, storyline, get it together. So he just says goodnight to her and goes into the living room and then has like 4 beers and eats chips or whatever. And then she wakes up the next morning and he's still asleep in his shorts that he wore last night. Or maybe they weren't the same shorts. I don't know. She gets the kids ready. She calls her mom, tells her mom that she's dropping the kids off because she's MAD and Marcelino, and she doesn't want the kids to be there when she has this conversation with him. She gets back to the house. She sees all of the beer and the chips, so she takes one of the beers and she goes up to him and removes the covers and starts to dump beer on him and is like, you liar, where were you last night? You think I'm your maid? You think I'm just gonna come and clean up after you? And he pops up and he's just like looking at her like confused, and she's like, you lied to me, Marcelino. James called me last night, so I know you weren't with him, so where were you? And he's just looking at her like whatever, and she's like, you're a liar. And she gets up and she slaps him and he goes up against the wall. I don't even know if the slap was really real. I feel like it was kind of slow, and maybe it's because he just woke up, but I'm like, he's a military. Shouldn't he have like cat-like reflexes or something? So he like backs up against the wall, falls into the wall, and she's just like, look, I'm pregnant with your child. I don't have time for this. You can't do this to me. We don't have this relationship, Marcelino. We tell each other the truth. We're not these people. And so she storms off into the living room. He comes in there after her. And she's like, where were you? Why are you lying to me? And so he's like, well, then can I tell you? Can I tell you? And she's like, fine. So then he says, you know what? I had to go get help because I haven't been doing well with poker playing. And she's like, so now you're lying to me about money? Like, this is unnecessary. We are not this couple. You don't need to put this doubt in my mind. And he's like, well, you want to put a tracker in my phone? You want to do all this stuff for me? And all of a sudden he gets defensive, like he isn't 100% in the wrong. And then that's when it goes wrong for her. She's like, look, whatever, I'm out of here. And I'll come back when you feel like being up and honest with me. And he's like, where are you going? You my wife. And she's like, what? So she gets up to go outside and get into the car. So she gets into the car and drives away, and he's just standing in the driveway like, I'm just like, this is so fake. This is so fake. She's a better actor than he is, honestly. And like, you know, she's the one who's been in jail for the longest time. He's the one who's been on TV. He's terrible at it. I can't believe he got defensive talking about, you want to put a tracker in my phone. Like, nah, you are wrong. You need to just placate. You need to bow your head. You need to put your hand out, you know, like the monkeys do, like the apes do, and be like, I'm sorry, you know, whatever. But don't come at her like she's wrong for wanting to know where you are. Come on now, Marcelino. You've been doing too much. All right, so the last couple and the best couple and what keeps me excited about this season is the quad. We've got Meghan, not Markle, Sara and Michael, and Maria. Okay, Michael says in this segment that he always likes to have 3 or 4 different women because it keeps it exciting for him. He may be interested in one, but he keeps the other ones around in order to like have someone else to go to in case one doesn't work out. So, you know how I told you guys before that Michael is like insecure? I mean, this solidifies that he is super insecure. That he can't even keep one woman. He keeps them juggled because in case one doesn't work out, he has another one to run to. Like, ugh. What a loser. Told you, he just sucks energy. He's like a bat bird. You know what I'm saying? Just like a vampire. Really, he really is a vampire. So we're hot off the presses of last episode where Sara makes Michael a drink and Michael ends up spending the night at Sara's house. So the cover story is that he spent the night in the bed with Aviana and Rain and put his kids to sleep, and he just gonna stay the night because Sara went out with her friends. That's what he tells Maria at 12:30 a.m. So Maria's like, okay, I guess Sara's not there. I trust Michael. Why would you trust Michael? You was a grown-ass woman, Maria. You looking dumb right now on TV. Unless she's acting too. What ends up happening is that they do have sex. Like, Sara and Michael end up spending the night together because that's her husband, and she felt like, you know, whatever. I don't care if he has a girlfriend. That's my husband. Like, Michael and I have been together for 7 years. Those are the father of my children. So, like, it is what it is. Like, I don't feel no kind of ways about it. And I'm just like, Michael's just so trifling, right? And also, Sara, I don't feel bad for her anymore. Now, at this point, I felt bad for her, but now I don't. Because she keeps on walking back in the same trifling ass situation with this man for no reason. And I feel it. Like, maybe she's not having sex with anybody, and so the opportunity to have sex with somebody who's comfortable for her, like, you just take that opportunity. So I understand it from that perspective, but still, like, I don't feel sorry for her. You know what I'm saying? She's lying in the bed. It's her mess. It's her mess. So Michael, of course, lies to producers in his confessionals and outside of his confessionals. He gets home to Maria. He lies to Maria. Not home, but to the hotel to Maria. He lies to Maria, tells Maria that, you know, he fell asleep. Maria's like, why do you call me and tell me? I've been calling you a lot. You saw my missed calls. He's like, I didn't see your missed calls until I got to the Uber. And I'm like, Michael, you a whole lie. This entire time your phone has been on loud and clear, to the point where every time it rings or dings, Maria's like, who is that? What's that? Who is that? And I'm just like, so if you don't take your phone off now, I know you didn't take your phone off last night, fool. You did not. So he just says he's sorry to Maria, kisses her, makes her feel good, and she's like, okay. And I'm just like, you a fool. So he hops in the shower, you know, to wash the Sara off him or whatnot, and he starts to tell, you know, Maria that he's gonna get up with her. Meanwhile, Sara is expecting Michael to come back because Michael has promised Aviana that they go get ice cream. Of course he doesn't come back because he spent the whole night there, so he has to placate Maria the whole day. So I guess they're in there like doing whatever they do, and Megan ends up calling Michael, and he ignores her call, but then he decides that he's gonna call her back. So he goes downstairs to smoke a cigarette, and he calls Megan, and Megan is just like, where have you been? And he's like, you know, I've been busy, I got a lot going on right now. I'm in New York trying to see the girls. And Megan's just like, okay, whatever, I'm about to go to the studio to record these songs. And he's like, oh, you about to record some hits? And she's like, you know. And just like that, Michael is back in her good graces, and she gets a phone call. She's like, look, I got a phone call. I'll call you back. And he's like, all right. So he goes back upstairs to Maria. So he's still got all of these girls floating in the air. And Maria's like, we got something real going on. You know, I don't want you over there talking to Sara because I know how she is, and I don't want her to try to pull you back in. And it's just all this like manipulation and dumb stuff. Like, it's just so dumb. But entertaining at the same time, so I'm grateful. All right, so later on that night, when Michael doesn't show up to take Aviana to ice cream, Sara decides she's gonna hop in her car and cause some drama. So she goes over to where Michael is staying. She pulls up, and it just so happens that Maria and Michael are outside, I guess, smoking a cigarette, girl. And so she pulls up, and she's like, Michael. And Michael looks shocked as F. He's like, mid-sentence, talking to Maria. And Sara pulls up, and Maria's like, oh, hell no. I know where you live, but I don't show up at your place. Like, nah, you're gonna continue having conversation with Michael through the phone. You need to get in your car and go away. And she's like, that's my husband. Sara is real calm, okay? Real calm. If she thought that any kind of altercation between her and Megan was heated, she was not prepared for what's gonna happen with Maria. So she's just laying back like, it's your class, ho. Sara's like, no, that's my husband. And Maria's like, I don't care. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, you're not coming up here. And Sara's like, well, if you want the truth, I can tell you the truth. And Michael's like, no, Sara, no. Maria, go upstairs, boo. I got this. I got this. I got this. And Sara's like, why you didn't come and take Aviana to ice cream? You said she were going to. And he didn't really answer. He was just basically like, I was spending time with Maria. And I'm just like, girl, I want an answer. I want him to look at Sara and look at her dead in her face and tell her why. Why at least he didn't call and say, I can't come. Baby girl, I'm so sorry. I'm spending the time with Maria, and I'm, you know, whatever. I don't know. You know, he's just a trifling ass Negro. So Maria's ready to pull up and fight. Sara's like, no, I'm not gonna fight. That's my husband. So regardless of whatever you have to say right now, you're in the wrong and I'm in the right. And I'm just like, Sara, don't Don't be smirking over Michael. He ain't nobody to smirk over. Ugh. Ugh. That's how I feel about Michael. He's so... Sarah's like, Michael, they calling the police. Get in my car. So I guess the like hotel is gonna call the police on them because Maria's getting buck, and she's like, let's get out of here, get in my car, like, let's go, I'll save you. And I'm like, Sarah girl, you don't need to be saving Michael. Let Michael get caught up. If you want to bring a girl who's gonna act a fool in front of a Best Western, like, let it happen. Let it happen. Why would this grown woman come to Rochester, New York to support this man and seeing his children? Why? Because she wanted to make sure that her trifling ass man didn't sleep with his ex or his current or his wife, whomever she is, and he did anyway, right under her nose. So like, what does it matter? What was even Maria there for? She being so dumb. But anyway, so that's the end of that segment, and we're gonna see what happens next segment. Does Michael get in the car with Sara and take off, you know, so that the police don't come? Because you know Michael got a record, so he gonna go to jail or something gonna happen to him. Or does he stay with Maria and hold it down with his new boo-boo, as what he calls her, boo-boo? All right, you guys, so that's the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I thought it was a really interesting episode. Like, Tommy and Tony drama was hilarious, and the Marcelino and Brittany fake drama was weird, and Clint, oh God, can't talk about Clint anymore. Just so, like, come on. Come on. All right, you guys, so if you like this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Let's go on ahead and have a kiki and a conversation down in the comments section. Please check out these videos that are right here. Show your girl some love on YouTube and share on other social media platforms. Follow me on Instagram if you'd like at justcallmewa, and remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. Jump in the line. Rock your body on time. Okay, I believe you. Jump in the line. Rock your body on time. Hey, hey, hey. Oh my God, I'm so late for work. What time is it?